Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Peri offers the right slab formwork for any site. Skydeck, the quick and extremely light aluminium panel formwork when fast shuttering is crucial. The Peri table form systems, Uniportal, PD8 or Multiprop when you have a high level of repetition and open construction. And Multiflex, the flexible and adaptable girder slab formwork for any layout, any height and any slab depth. Multiflex is optimized for individual projects to make it particularly efficient and cost-effective. Multiflex is a modular system. It consists of props with accessories, main girders, secondary girders and plywood. The G224, which is noted for its high load capacity, long life and low weight, is used as girder, or a solid formwork girder like the VT20K, which, thanks to its high-grade webboard and the steel end caps, guarantees a high degree of rigidity. Peri also makes it easier to choose props. The PEP prop, with its constant load capacity and low weight, allows efficient work. In the case of the multi-prop, you have an aluminium design that can be used as an individual prop or combined with frames to form a table or tower. The built-in measuring tape and free-running nut allow rapid pre-adjustment. Low weight and consistently high load capacity make the multi-prop very economical. With deep or particularly high slabs, the ST100 stacking tower or the multi-prop tower is used as support. Incidentally, the Multiflex is also used to support precast plank slabs. We'll now show you how you can plan, erect and strike Peri Multiflex and construct stop ends and beam formwork. The table slide rules are used to plan quickly and easily on site. There are three versions. VT20 as main and secondary girders. VT20 as secondary, GT24 as main girders. And GT24 as main and secondary girders. For the following example, with GT24 as main and secondary girders, the slab depth has been set on 20 centimeters. The size and thickness of the plywood determines the spacing of the secondary beams. In this case, 62.5 centimeters. If a prop spacing of 150 centimeters is chosen, the permissible main girder spacing is 2.65 meters. The actual prop load of 28 kilonewtons can now be read off under the yellow 2.65. This is also the GT24's maximum reaction force. On the back of the slide rule is the prop table. When using DIN props, the extended height, 2.30 meters in this example, must now be used to determine the size required. A DS350 is needed. With the PEP prop, everything is much simpler. Its constant load capacity over the whole extended range makes the choice much easier. The PEP 30, with a load capacity of 30 kilonewtons, is being used. If shuttering is being carried out with the multi-prop, it's only its extended height that still plays a role. Its load capacity is always sufficient. And routine planning is even simpler with Peri LPOS software. The layout is entered in the usual way. If the wall formwork has already been planned beforehand, the layout is simply adopted for slab shuttering. The depth of the slab and clear height are entered first. The girders and their lengths and the size of the form lining can now be specified in the basic settings. The only thing left to process is the parts list. LPOS specifies which props can be used. When shuttering, LPOS takes account of all the structural values required. The result is something to be proud of, an accurate parts list for the yard and an exact formwork plan for the site. Planning only has to be carried out once to minimize the time taken for shuttering and the cost of equipment. The shuttering equipment is delivered to the site in pallets. Shuttering starts with adjusting the props to the height required. The multi-prop's built-in measuring tape makes this particularly easy. The fork head with self-locking coupling is simply inserted into the prop. Fork heads without self-locking coupling have to be secured with pins. The first prop can be erected. It's stabilized with a tripod to prevent it falling over. Further fork head props are set out and erected. The tripod is basically only an erection aid here. It can transfer horizontal loads from forms at a height of up to 3 meters. Greater heights make it necessary to fit bracing to transfer the horizontal forces. Peri offers brace clamps to secure diagonal boards for this purpose. If multi-props are being used, the bracing can also take the form of multi-prop frames. The remaining fork head props are erected. The Multiflex fork head holds 1 or 2 girders so that they cannot tilt. The main girders can now be positioned. This is carried out with the erection bar when they're within reach from the slab. The secondary girders are then laid on at the spacing chosen. The erection bar is of service here as well. To make cleaning and striking easy, Peri recommends spraying the sheets of plywood all round with Peri Bio Clean. The stack of plywood can be deposited on top with the crane as soon as a large enough area has been shuttered. To safeguard against the secondary beams tilting, the individual sheets of plywood must be nailed down. Longitudinal and transverse infilling is quick and easy with Multiflex. The formwork is now levelled. This can be carried out by one person. Intermediate props must be erected at the spacing required. Only after this has been completed may reinforcement or other heavy loads be set down on the formwork. The claw head also has a self-locking coupling and only has to be inserted. It makes it unnecessary to secure intermediate props by nailing. The 30cm spacing of the GT24's joints makes the work much easier. All you have to do is count them. This enables you to check quickly and without measuring whether all props have been erected at the right spacing. Incidentally, with the claw head, the GT24 can be supported at any point while still transferring the full load. After spraying, the formwork is finished and steel fixing and concreting can be carried out. Once the concrete attains the strength required, the formwork is struck. This begins with removal of the intermediate props, which are stacked straight into pallets to enable them to be shifted quickly. The forkhead probs are then lowered about 4 centimeters. The lowering head makes the process even simpler. A few hammer blows are all that's needed to lower the formwork 4 centimeters. This leaves enough room to tip the secondary girders over and remove them. The removed girders are stacked straight into pallets. The sheets of plywood can now be removed and cleaned. The remaining secondary girders are removed and the main girders taken down. The crosshead props are now removed. The peri pallet lifter is used to move the shuttering equipment into the next section. For faster concreting cycles with Multiflex, temporary props have to be used. This allows earlier striking and the formwork is ready for reuse. At the start of striking, the temporary props are erected according to the structural requirements. The actual striking then corresponds to normal use. Only the temporary props remain in position. Slab edges are shuttered with the peri stop-end angle. Just nail it on and that's it. Stop ends for slabs up to 40 centimeters deep can be constructed this quickly. At the edge, the handrail post is used to erect a safety handrail system conforming to the DIN standard. Insert the posts, secure with slide, and nail down. The stop end bar is used for vertical stop ends up to 50 centimeters high. A stop end sleeve for this is concreted into the wall, then the tie rod screwed into it. Put stop end bar on and screw tight. The height of the stop end can be adjusted accurately with the nut provided. The spindle at the bottom end allows the stop end bar to be positioned vertically to suit the thickness of the stop end board being used. For shorter slab overhangs of up to 45 centimeters, the peri formwork bracket is used. This too is anchored to stop end sleeves cast in beforehand. The free-running nut allows the formwork to be tightened easily. The handrail posts are used to provide a safety system when using the stop-end bar and the formwork bracket. With the 40 beam bracket and the beam width adjustment bar, Beams of any width and depth can be shuttered. No ties are needed for beams up to 80 centimeters deep. For wider beams, the adjustment bars are simply coupled together. The beam bracket is positioned, the tie hook hooked into the beam width adjustment bar and the wing nut tightened. Timbers, or formwork girders of different sizes, can be used as secondary beams for the 40 beam bracket. Smaller beams can also be shuttered with a stop end angle. It can be secured with a clamp on the girder or timber or nailed for shallower beams. You've now got to know how the Multiflex system can be used effectively from planning through to striking. We wish you every success in shuttering with Peri Multiflex, the cost-effective girder slab formwork.
Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.